Hey, Miss Mosley here. In this series of tutorial videos, I'm going to show you how to use EdPuzzle. Now, what is EdPuzzle? EdPuzzle is an online platform that allows you to find, edit, and assign online videos to your students. Now, that's not where the magic is. What I find as one of the best features of EdPuzzle is that not only can you edit the videos maybe for length, if the video is too long for you, you can cut it down, but you can also embed check for understanding questions and also comprehension checks within the videos. So not only are you easily able to organize and assign videos to your students, but you can also track who's watching the videos. You can track how long students are spending on each of the videos, and you can also keep track of how well they're understanding the material. Part one of this series is really just a getting started with EdPuzzle. I'm going to introduce you to the platform, I'm going to show you how to sign up for an account, and I'm also going to show you how you can link it with your Google Classroom and import students over from your roster at Google Classroom over to EdPuzzle. In the other videos in this series, I'm going to cover more in-depth tutorials that will allow you to get the most out of EdPuzzle in your classroom. So stay tuned. Hi, so in part one, I'm going to show you how to get set up with EdPuzzle. So this is actually just going to be a shorter video than part two and part three in the series. So if you just type in edpuzzle.com, it's going to take you to this landing page here. And it does give you a little bit of the same background information that I gave in the introduction about what EdPuzzle is. So if you don't have an account, of course, you're going to need to sign up here. And this is the same place where your students are going to go as well. But I mean, if we're in this video, I'm going to show you how to link it with Google Classroom. So really your students should be able to use the Google Classroom platform in order to go to their EdPuzzle videos. So when you're signing up, you need to say whether you're a teacher or you're a student. Since I already have an account, I'm just going to log in. And I've connected this with my Google just to make it a little easier for the login. And when you sign up for your first account, it's going to ask you a lot of information. It's going to ask you what subjects you teach. It's going to ask you what grades you teach. And it's also going to ask you the school or the institution that you're affiliated with. So at our high school, we do have a number of teachers who are currently using EdPuzzle. So our institution is definitely listed there, but I mean, I think it's beneficial to choose the institution because in the part two video, I'm going to show you how you can actually leverage that in order to kind of cut down your working time a little bit. So when you first create your account, you're going to come to a page that kind of looks like this, My Content. And since it's a new account, you really shouldn't have a whole lot here. What I've done over the years, we've actually, in the chemistry department, I want to say we've been using EdPuzzle for about 3 or 4 years. So over the years, I've kind of taken time to organize all the videos that I assign to students, make them better year after year. So I have folders that are set up, and then in subsequent videos, I'll show you how to create folders. So one of the first things you're going to need to do is go to My Classes, because that's what you need to set up. After you already have your account, you essentially need to have classes that are set up in EdPuzzle as well. So what you're seeing here on the side are the classes that I taught in the 2019-2020 school year. So I have my AP Chemistry course here. I have my science elective that I taught in the fall. And then I also have my research class that I use EdPuzzle with. And so you shouldn't have anything here if, this is a new account for you. But really, this is where you're going to see all of the assignments, like the videos that you've given to students. And it'll show you all the ones that are done, graded and completed. We'll talk about the difference between due assignments and no due date later on. That's really not what the focus of this video is. So on this left panel here, what you want to do is you want to add a new class, and you have two options. You can either create a class, from scratch, and you'll have a link and you'll post that link somewhere and you'll share it with your students, and then they can sort of sign up the same way that you did with EdPuzzle. That's a lot trickier. that is a lot, a lot of moving pieces. I highly suggest that you add a new class from Google Classroom. And what this actually does is, if you notice what happened over here, is because it's linked with my Midwood High School account, the account that I'm using with Google Classroom, it just scanned my Google Classroom. And I'm just going to quickly log in there so you'll see what EdPuzzle was actually just able to do. So for right now, I only have one class that's set up. I archived all of my other classes. So I only have a demo class available. And there's one student that's in this class. And of course, that student is me. So what EdPuzzle did is it just scanned all of the classes that I have available. And it's saying, okay, these are the classes, or this is the class you have. Is this the class you want to import? So I'm going to click it and I'm going to say, yes, import this class. And so now this class here is connected to my Google Classroom here. And the beauty of this is now this is going to give me an option. Anytime I put an assignment on EdPuzzle, I'm going to be able to have the assignment pop up in Google Classroom for my students. So they don't have to check EdPuzzle to see that there was something assigned to them. It will automatically pop up in their feed. So I have this demo class, but like you see here, I have one student, but EdPuzzle is not showing me that. What it says here though, it's like, okay, we read your Google Classroom and you have one student that's in there. Would you like to import this student? And so it did. I have one student that's available for me to assign videos to through EdPuzzle. And the beauty of this, the fact that I've linked it, is that later on, I know I'm going to have more students join this class, right? We are going to have at least 30, 34 students joining. All I need to do once a new student joins my Google Classroom is I just need to click over here to import students. And what it's doing is it's going to scan my Google Classroom and look for any changes in the student roster. And those changes will pop up here. And it'll say, okay, you had 20 students yesterday, now you have 30. And it will, once I press this button, import those 10 new students over to this platform. So once I'm able to connect it with Google Classroom, that's really all I need to do in order to set up my account. Of course, I don't have any assignments here. I don't have any due dates here. I haven't gone through how we actually edit and assign videos yet, but this is the first step. This is the first thing that you need to do in order to set up your account. One last thing I wanted to talk about in terms of the setting it up and those little pieces in the beginning of the year is we go through equalization. It happens every single year. I'll have a student in my class on Tuesday, and then by Thursday they'll be gone. So what happens if all of a sudden, in 2 days that, I don't want this student on my EdPuzzle roster anymore? All I need to do is click here and I can remove the student from the class. You can also just do that on Google Classroom, like remove them from your Google Classroom, and then you'll update your roster here and it'll automatically pull that student out. So that's pretty much it. That's all you need to do to get started and set up your EdPuzzle account. In the next video, part 2, I'm going to go over how we can find, edit, and assign videos to students. So I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.